Hey, I'm Decathlon Gamer. Welcome back to FM22. It's Youth Factory. This is episode 77. We continue on with the season. We've pushed forward a couple of games from which we only grabbed 1 point, but we did have a couple difficult matches. Braun was going to be a hard one, and we barely lost. Bottle Glimt on the road, coming away with a draw is probably a good result, and that was following 4 straight victories, 3 of them in the league. One of those was the third round of the Cup, where we absolutely dominated, only to have the other team in the last couple of minutes bag 2 very, very quick goals out of nowhere to make the game a little scary for us. But we now have the 4th round where we are once again on the road against a third tier side, Ralphus. Ralphus is currently 5th place in that 2nd tier where we played a season ago. So this is not an easy match in particular because we are on the road. If we were at home, you'd probably just about make us favorites. Being on the road, this thing could really go either way. I mean, maybe at this point we are slightly above 50% on the favorites list, but considering they are right about the position we were in just a year ago. Nice passing there, but the eventual shot is blocked. All we needed to try to take on the defender to get some space as opposed to just going straight into the shot attempt there. Hole is a bit sad, but otherwise we are looking good on the morale side of things. And so far through the first 16 minutes, we've been well in control of this match. But not amassing a lot of shots. Great through ball. Homedale was onside. Number 3 played him on there. Number 3 was retreating very quick to try to come over to help. And where his teammate suddenly tried to play an offside trap, he didn't get the memo. 3-1 on the shot attempt so far. XG 100% in our favor as they are 0.01 of no attempt that they have had. It was not one of those ever going to score type attempts. Passing, finding space well. Nice through ball for Homedale, but he wisely knew that we were not going to get to that one. And Osby recovers the ball for us. Again, that long ball over the top for Homedale in a position that he can't quite get. Holth already on a yellow card. I haven't even seen any fouls committed, but Jonas Gay, Homedale over the bar. I think that was over. Might have been wide left. Hard to tell from the angle we had. Homedale, great job taking on his defender. But then he pulls it back when he had a beat. Jonas Gay to the box. Thought he might take a shot there, but he again pulls it back. We're back in. And there it is! And Hole! His first goal. Wow. Actually just saw a similar real-life goal to this one in a match yesterday that nearly clinches a regular season title as the playoffs in the U.S. For the Portland Thorns, where the defense got a piece of the ball and partially cleared, and Porter blasted it to the back of the net, just like that one. I do think Lindsberg was onside there. No flag is ever raised, regardless. And unfortunately, he misses not by much there. Jonas Gay, onside, cross in, forward. Olin, long ball to no one. We still haven't recovered the ball, but Modeste eventually does. I'm worried about Holth and that yellow card. We might need to sub him out sooner rather than later, maybe even halftime as a precaution, especially now that we have that lead. Playing with 10 could be a real problem. Homedale finds Modeste for the overlap. Modeste with the cross. Bergham's going to get there first. Swift forced to make a stop, but not forced to make a tough save on that one, as that header was a bit too much down the middle. Painting to any one of 4 corners probably would have scored that one. We are all over them so far. They've only amassed 2 more shots, neither on target, and their XG is suffering as a result. And meanwhile, we are playing well. Half our shots on target, 14 attempts already. Surprised we don't have more XG than that. The yellow card is definitely a concern. 68% possession right now in this one. Holth is tired, not playing particularly well, and has the yellow. I think now is probably a good time to bring on the young Nilsson. And the match continues. Oh, finds Homedale. Bergam. Little 1-2 attempt there, but the defense read that very well. Got there first. Hull has a goal, but it still only has a 7.4 rating. Great pass there. Bergam. Homedale trying to make a run, but the defense seemed to be holding him back, or he just couldn't find the pocket to slide through, the channel in which to run. And they've got one guy forward, we've got 6 guys back, and he still kept possession. The good thing about that one, that's onside. The only good thing for us on that one was nobody made a rash challenge to commit the foul, to pick up a yellow card and, make our situation worse. So, patience for the defense. 70th minute already. This game's going fast. Murbacken is a little tired. Osby's not having a great day. Let's see what sort of options we have. We could go with Fawoli, who's definitely more defensive, as opposed to Hermansen. Or we could bring on Janssen. Actually, Janssen is cleared to play, but he's pretty tired. How about we go with Fawoli? Fawoli can play a more defensive role for us and help secure the win. 80th minute. Instructions. Let's go ahead and time waste and speed up the tempo and play for set pieces. Try to move the ball around a little more quickly here. Over the top, Nørgaard. Great recovery from Nilsson. Nilsson's picked up a yellow somewhere somehow. Across, Ferroli wins it. That's one of those reasons why we made that change. But here comes Nørgaard, the only guy forward again, and they've somehow turned that into a decent counterattack attempt. Homedale, tired. That's probably where we should use our final sub and maybe bring on, say, Hermansen. And then we'll drop Hermansen back. Nope, never gets on the field, but we were there just in case. So, yeah, got the job done. Wasn't pretty. Totally in control of that match until the very end. I mean, they only ever got a second shot on target. Defense did enough. Hull ended up having a pretty strong game. He anchored that defense pretty well. I ain't got that goal. This is really only the second year in all the years we've been involved in this cup. And reminder, especially if you skipped some episodes or joined late into this series, as some of you did, the early years, we were in such a low division that we didn't even get into the tournament. I believe it's the 4th tier where you first get in. And our only year that we were in the 4th tier, we didn't play in the tournament because not every team in that tier does. And so that first year in, we were still outside of that list. I believe if we were there again the next year, we would have made the tournament, but we were promoted back to back as we had been until we got up to the top 3 tiers and then suddenly halted and slowed down massively our rate of progression. That's when we first played. So 3rd tier was the first time we ever played. Now, it's been quite a few years since then. I mean, it's 2039 in game. We've been playing for nearly 2 decades now. And more than a decade of that has been since we hit that 3rd tier. So yes, we have played quite a few years, but this is really only the second out of, let's say, something like a dozen, out of about a dozen years. 2 times we've had favorable draws. And, the odds are in favor of much better draws than what we average, including, this. This obviously starts to swing that average back the other direction, but it's nowhere near balancing what would have been expected in our draws over these last dozen years. We've had tough draws after tough draws. We've been out in the 3rd, 4th round many, many times. We're into the 5th this time. We have gone further than this in that one year where we had favorable draws, and it looks like we will continue to go further, as this time we're even at home. So we've been away for the first two. This time we're at home against a much lower opponent. That's third, fourth tier. Our next match is another road one, but it's one of those ones where I think we've got a good chance at pulling some points. So we are going to take control of this match and hope that we can do so that we can put our foot on the gas for a little bit, speed things up, and see if, that cruise control can keep us, up in the standings for a little while. But analyzing the last performance for Lillestrøm, who we are about to play, you can see a lot of their passes come into the middle. So a lot of interior passes, and at least in their last match, which was a cup one, Ibiaga was kind of the focal point of a lot of that. So we'll have to keep an eye out for him. Ibiaga is a Nigerian part-time international. He gets the occasional call up, and he's definitely has a decent value compared to our team. He looks like a pretty decent player. A lot of the passing combinations, like you said, went through him. But you can see they play fairly compact and a lot in the middle. I mean, 4 of the players were all targeted through this middle spot, which, with that extra anchor for us defensive mid-wise, our weakness is the corners, and they don't seem to be using that at all, except for maybe Catalano. And Catalano, how's he looking? Not terribly high in value. He's got a little bit of acceleration, you would think. He's determined, teamwork. Crossing's not great. Passing definitely could be better. So not going to worry too much. His ratings are pretty low. But again, we don't know that these are the same players. This is just an evaluation of their last game. One thing that does stand out about them is they score with limited chances. Their shots on target ratio is very high, and their goals per game is actually not bad. It looks like it's their defense that is atrocious, which means we would expect to score quite a bit. They don't get very many shots, and their base stat line looks like what I typically see. We don't give up very many shots, but the teams always seem to put them on target and convert a high number of those. Our defense isn't that excellent at stopping other teams, but part of that's formation. But then there's our strength, formation. We have an attacking formation, and if they concede 2.5 goals a game, we should expect to get 2 to 3 goals this game, and hopefully hold them to 1 or less. At Lillestrøm for this one, I find it so odd that we struggle to fill our own stadium, though it's obviously gotten better season by season. But look at the away support that we are supplying. It is so good. But here we are, match behind pretty much everybody else because we are playing a Sunday match televised. So that's nice to get for the team. Worth some money there. But everybody else played yesterday. Now, in terms of when everybody else played, in particular when we played and our opposition, for us, our cup game was 4 days ago. Their cup game was 3 days ago, as that one bounces off the head of the wall, one of the defenders, and Mullen easily picks it up as it was kind of straight at him. They do win the header on that one. They've already had 2 shots. Nothing on target so far, though. Bergam finds Homedale. Homedale's got support, and he's actually going to take it himself with some space. Beats the defender there, clearly, and Bergam, free header. Barely challenged at all, if at all, by the defender who was marking him. Really should have done much better on that one. Not yet elite in any way, shape, or form. Flacco looked offside, but no flag raised. And then Gashi gets called. I'm not sure Gashi was offside. I thought he had retreated back. So the initial play looked off, and then part of the play that did look on got called off. Homedale, cuts. Sneaky little move there to drag the ball away from the leg of the defender and then push it past. And goes close. Keeper makes a decent stop on that one. Janssen, patient, waits for team to come up. Andreasen with the overlap, but can't get it under control before it goes out of bounds for the goal kick. Janssen heads up to Homedale. Homedale cuts back. Andreasen lays it off, and we are back in defense. Now these guys stack that midfield a little bit, but so do we, and we are finding space with the overlap. Murbach and Jonas Gay wide open, undefended whatsoever. Could have continued to dribble in, opts to shoot, and then blasts it 40 yards over the bar. Absolutely terrible shot. He freaked out in the moment of, oh, perfect opportunity. And then, yeah, snatched at it. My guess is Flapper was onside that time and gets the goal. That's a good goal. My guess, going back to what Jonas Gay ended up doing, was he wanted to drive it hard past the keeper and probably opened up too much, causing him to lean back instead of getting over top of the ball. Hence the up to outer space moment there. Yeah, we don't need to see this anymore. He's onside. It's a good goal. We've already admitted to it. You don't have to show me 20 freaking replays of them scoring. Right now the game's balanced. We have the possession advantage. We've been more creative than they have. XG is about the same, especially after that goal they had. Really giving them a big boost to it. And good header there. Reyes makes a decent stop. I think we have every opportunity to get back into this thing still. Jonas Gave! Homedale. Again. Another close chance. And our XG, again, is almost right there with theirs as we approach halftime. And they've got a center back on a yellow. They've got a fullback on a yellow. And we have no yellows right now. When I was looking down, thought we were clearing that away, and then all of a sudden they shot. Luckily, they shot wide. Second half underway. I'm liking the fact that they've got multiple yellow cards in their defensive line. That's going to be a real opportunity for us. We are already going positive, but we may here at some point go full attacking as we are kind of locked in a loop of possession. There's another yellow card. Both fullbacks, a fullback. Wow, that was terrible defending from Owen there. Yeah, his rating dropped after that one. Nice layoff pass. Osby, Homedale, third time, and he still can't lock anything down. Homedale this time, much better header. But he had it at the offensive end. There's Jonas Gay, but barely keeping that one in, and Bergam lays that off. It was onside. Cleared out for the corner. And looking much better. Andreasen not playing well in his return. We might bring on Modeste sooner rather than later. So his ratings beginning to come up. Foss, Holth, Murbachen, Ostby, Andreasen all struggling in this one. Olin takes that free kick. Janssen finds Homedale, who turns and finds Bergam. And the score is level, just inside the hour mark. Great passing there. And a very nice finish. Murbachen, nice little turn to the inside, knowing that Janssen's wide open, finds Homedale. Bergam just makes a nice little cut, and so much of that was on Homedale, though, as Bergam hadn't done much yet. It was just more about ball placement. Andreasen, rating's still not coming up, so let's go ahead and bring on Modeste, especially considering there's virtually no layoff there. Must be on a yellow. We might want to sub him out. 10 more minutes have been played. Bergam again. And again. Back into the lead. Or back into. First lead of the game. Back to where I feel we should have been all along. Janssen heads to Ostby. He finds Bergam in a nice little 1-2 combination there. Easily onside. The keeper nearly gets an arm to it. But does not get low enough as Bergam just drives it low into that bottom corner. Murbachen and Ostby both struggling in this one, but of course they are stacking the midfield a little more than most opponents have so far this season. We've made one change so far with Modeste, with Andreasen, who is really struggling today and having a poor performance. I think the yellow card, Ostby, needs to be swapped out. Hermansen's a bit off it. Oh, boy, if keeper doesn't come out and get that one, that was going to make it 3. Murbachen, nice. Little possession play there. Ostby, nice find, and Homedale's through, and there you go. That's going to do it. that is going to do it. We're going to have to wait for our latest tactical changes still hadn't gone into effect yet. Foss finds Osby. Osby, that's a fantastic pass there to Bergam. And then great through ball on Homedale. Really nice first touch. Just squeezing that on the inside corner as that keeper nearly makes the stop. Yes, we want to make that change. And, you got to say on the balance, this is about right, scoreline wise. And I told you, they are capable of scoring. Let's just hope we can outscore them at 2 to 3 goals, and look what we have. So, Ostby, let's get Ostby out. That'll be the first change. Hull is a better defensive option. Flippo, so close there. Changes I just made had not gone into effect, but before this corner, we probably will have gotten them in. Foss out-jumps his man, but neither one can win the ball. And the playing for set pieces seems to be working out at the moment as we are stalling for time much better. We don't need to go into major stalling here as Homedale nearly bags another. That would have made 4. And that would not have been very representative of the game, as they've been much more in it than a 3-goal deficit would suggest. But here again, more time going away. 89th minute. Russell off to the counter-attack races. Janssen, good interception. Though that ball was a little over-hit, a little overplayed, a little too much weight. Bergam, nice little run. Not great hold-up play on that one as they are allowed to counter-attack back the other way, and they've gotten one back here very, very late. Nothing wrong with that play. Flatbow was onside. Everything wrong with that was Bergam's insistence on going backwards. Ooh, you know what? I thought he was easily on, but from the look there on the replay, I think Flatbow, it looks like he might have gone early. No? Okay. It was on time. My original assessment was correct. Nothing wrong there. Okay, it's late. Let's go ahead and do the defensive substitution now. Let's get Bergam out of there. I hate going off of positive or neutral or balanced, because this is what happens. Hull heads that one away, and they blast that away, and that should do it. Time is already up, and there's the final whistle. So we do hang on. 3-2 the final score. Homedale, player of the match, 9.5. Goals and assists, same with Bergam. Those two linking up so well, and very much was a deserved result. They were inching towards that second goal for sure. I do think we deserved what we got, though. And that's 3 more points, an important 3 points. That now puts us on 13 in 8 played. So we are +5 at the moment. Let's go ahead and speed things up. We'll take a look at the calendar, see exactly how many we play, but at least 3. And then we'll see where the team lies at that point, if we can manage to score any points in those. Driving forward 1 month has brought this set of results. We have 2 wins, 2 losses over that stretch. And, for me, that's good, even though that does include the cup. Only a 1-0 victory in that 5th round, but victory is a victory. Our next match is Vålerenga in cup, and it's not looking good for that one because they literally just beat us 3-0 a couple of days ago. That was on the road. We will be at home, but I don't think that's going to magically flip that scoreline. They beat us 3-0 for a reason, and maybe it's going to be 2-0, or maybe it's going to be 3-1. I don't see us suddenly getting into that match enough. Vålerenga is really good, and we're not at that level yet. But Haugesund, lower end team, we managed to beat them 2-1. So at least the AI manager is capable, a little bit. Tromsø shouldn't have lost that one, but hey, that's bound to happen with the AI management in place. But that is 3 points from 3 league matches, plus a trip to the 6th round of the cup. Feeling pretty good about that. We've got a lot of season left to play still. But let's check in on how various things are looking, such as our placement in the league. Vålerenga, Rosenborg tied at the top, just a goal separating them, and just a point separating them from the trio, definitely the strongest three, Viking. Braun starting to emerge from the midfield, but we very much in that midfield. I mean, from 15 to 19 points, Steybeck in 5th, down to Bodo Glimt in 10th. Really, really tight through the midfield pack, and we have just a -1 goal differential and looking pretty good there. Identical to Strømsgodset. I think we beat them, and that might be the tiebreaker on why we're 8th and not 9th, but looking good on that front. In terms of safety, because it's all about safety for us this season, right? I'm not thinking, even though we're only a few points off of European placement this season, just try to get safety secured. Sundale, Hamcam, Haugesund, 7 and below. So we are 9 points clear in just 11 matches. So nearly a point a game ahead of the drop right now. That's looking pretty good, meaning we can probably push on a while yet. But we will see about that 6th round against Vålerenga next time, opening with that and then probably pushing forward again a little ways to see if we're still, mid-pack, because the AI seems to be managing about a point per match. When I've been managing, it's definitely better. I mean, the AI has done 5 or 6 league matches and only managed to score like 4 points, where in my 5 to 6 league matches we have like 12 points, 4 wins. Definitely a difference, but hey, we're doing fine. Bergam, 7 league goals, 7.55 ratings, so he's still playing really well. Also 6 assists, so really tearing it up, going both directions with that one. And let's check in on the team, and then we'll wrap things up. U19s, still some really low-end guys that haven't taken off yet. The U19s are not dominating the league like they have the last 2 years, 3 years. This year, very much a rebuilding year for the U19s, as we had a lot of young players come up and take senior spots, which is very much representative of us going full-time. And those guys take it off really fast, as they had a ton of room for improvement, and we're still very young. Meanwhile, the senior guys, those in those late 20s and early 30s that played part-time their whole career, never took off much. And now that we are full-time, and they would have that possibility now that we're professional, it's too late. They're too old. Anderson, at a 76, is already close to ready. And actually, I'm liking the position that he's playing. He could probably come up. His training rating's very high. His last match was an 8.0. He's just 15. But he's probably ready to contribute almost immediately. We'll have to see how he is compared to, like, say, an Ostby. As I think Ostby would be the one to make way to the bench. Great option off the bench for us, but Ostby was the original player who really kind of took off rating-wise and then stalled out after a short while, and has stayed there ever since. And hasn't changed, and is now into his 30s. So Ostby is where he is as a player, and I think Anderson's already plus 12 to 15 compared to Ostby. Netskar also taken off, so there's a competition for Moen in the near future. And Stormo, another attacking option. I hate to say it, but Bergam's rating that great. Bergam's overall ratings aren't that great. His performances are, but his ratings aren't. So Stormo, could be an upgrade there potentially. And Kildall's doing well, midfielder, right-sided midfielder as well. So I'm liking. There's a good 4 guys here, even Pedersen maybe 4, 5, 6, 7 guys that could be ready now or soon. Meanwhile, in the squad itself, Homedale leading the way, a 103 rating. He's only picked up 1 point this season. He's not that far off from his overall potential, so I can see him not getting a ton better. Same for Jonas Gay, Janssen, and Andreassen's already there. I mean, he's nearly maxed out, so those guys are kind of where they're going to be. But Foss, growing very quickly, now at 87. He was a low 70 or a high 60s at some point last season. So that's massive progress. Modeste looks like he's made up a little ground, but he's near his max. Merbocken's going to take off. I think Merbocken's going to be our best player or whole in the near future. Those two, much higher potential than their teammates, and just 19. So look for those guys to really explode. And Whole could take over for Osby probably right now. We'll get to Osby in a second. It's a 70 out of 123. So for one, he's a little better than I thought he was. But he and Merbakken were, in fact, I think Merbakken started the season as a 69 and Osby as a 70. I wanted to say that Osby was like 1 point better because I was nervous about putting Merbakken into the starting lineup. And then I saw that he was almost like right there with Osby. So I believe that was the case. And so, yeah, Merbakken's taken off. Moen's at a 78, so that young goalkeeper's not far behind him. Genkarjic isn't going to get much better than he is, so he's always going to be a backup and is 25 already. Olim coming along. He's getting there. He's getting to that point where he's good enough to play in the defense. He's got some room to grow. But there's Bergam, 72. He still has potential, but he's 28, so I don't know just how much more he's going to get. His training rating's okay. His average rating's been really good, so maybe, just maybe, Bergam's going to get a little bit more, but I don't see Bergam ever getting better than about an 80 just because of the age. I don't think he's going to improve much. Maybe as he's 28, maturity-wise, will come up, and that'll bring in some points, but that'll be about it. Like I said, Osby's totally stalled out. Fawoli is actually getting worse. His training has been really poor. He was locked in as like a 70, 71. At one point, he was a 74. He started his career as a 15-year-old better than he is right now. So Fawoli going to the bench has been really bad for him, combined with the training rating. Most of that, I don't think that's about personality. I think it's mostly just about the fact that he's as developed as he's going to get. I think that's why his training rating happens to be lower. I don't know if there's something to that, but I feel like there is. Heisted's coming along-ish, but potential's limited. Hermansen, too old to really develop much. Nielsen, we're trying to bring him along. He's up to a 63 now. That's one area I'm a little concerned about defensively, but he's already caught up and passed Gillo. Gillo was better just a short while ago. Harsted was better as well. So Nielsen has climbed. I think Nielsen was below Ford. He was in the high 50s, now 63. So giving him that playing time is definitely making a difference. Last season, he went out on loan to somebody, got a bunch of appearances there. So Nielsen, I think, was like a 40-something, now up to a 63. So he's definitely coming along. Mankiewicz is already listed, but it's time for him to go. There's a number of guys, especially the older ones. Lovas, Severette, Tangarud's going to probably go. Mankiewicz. So we're going to clear out a lot of these names. Hopefully in the upcoming transfer window we can get rid of a few more and not have to wait for the end of the season to part ways with them. I could manually just axe their contract, and I often do that at the beginning of the season, but I was opting to take it a little more realistic this time and give them not just the boot, but list them and try to do it properly and let the game play out in that manner. That is going to do it for this episode, though. I'm Decathlon Gamer. I'm definitely happy with how things are going, how things are progressing here. I think survival is very much on for us. I think if we managed every single game, we might even be able to squeeze our way into Europe because we are doing better than the AI has been. So if we were 2 or 3 points better than we are right now, that would have us on the edge. But safety this year, I'm good with that. I'm Decathlon Gamer. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Have a good one. Be safe out there, and bye for now.